everybody. This is a bit of a late night stream. This is the Alex Manassa, and I got a little special treat for you because I had a light bulb fail in my house. Now, that doesn't sound super exciting, right? But it's an LED light bulb, and boy howdy did it blow up. I've got a video here of me doing a teardown. All I needed was a clamp and a knife, a little bit of patience, and a little bit of tolerance to very foul smell. So let's just jump right into it, okay? Let me pop that up. There we go. All right, so here's the video of it. Here I have the light bulb. As you can see, you know, that white ring in the middle, that is just the ring light I have around my camera, so don't worry about too much about that. But you see this dark cloud in here? Something real bad happened. All right, we're going to get down to the bottom of it. Okay, I'm going to mute this video as soon as the taskbar goes away. There we go. All right. So you see right here, I'm just showing it off. I had already made a cut right here down the middle and then down one of the sides, and then I realized, wait a second, I should probably actually just videotape this, okay? So I'm trying to get the focuser working. Bear with me there. All right, just showing it off, showing it off. Whoop-de-doodles. All right, so point of advice. If you're doing a teardown and you need to use a knife, point the knife away from you always. I know that sounds like obvious advice, but find a way to move your material so that it's pointed away from you, okay? So the knife's pointed away from you. If you're cutting away like you're peeling a potato, then you're doing it right. Here I am failing with the focuser, but I'm learning. Give me a break. It's my first time. There we go. There we go. All right, that's nice and focused. And I'm going to pause it right there. So what you see right here in the middle of the LED board is a mezzanine connector. This mezzanine connector is a 2-pin header. You can see those 2 pins that are coming through it. Those are coming from below the board. Those are coming from an off-board source, okay? Those are almost certainly the current sources for all these LEDs, okay? So each one of these little yellow guys, that's a warm light temperature LED. That means it's kind of that yellow light that feels warm and nice, kind of like candlelight. I like those around my house. It's actually a cultural thing I found out that people from Vietnam are like asking me, Alex, why is your house so yellow? They use like, I call them surgery lights. Here I am rattling it. By the way, there's something loose in the bottom of this. It's going to take me a second here to figure out that I need to put the focuser onto autofocus. I like take a little, all right, there you go. Let me figure it out. There you go. There you go. All right, so like in Vietnam, they use like surgery lights, as I call them, or the daylight lights. Those are the ones that almost seem blue. Those strain the heck out of my eyes. Oh, so you see here the way I'm cutting it is I hold the light bulb like the, what do you call it? The base of a sword. You see I'm gripping that? I'm actually using the material to protect my hand. So if that knife slips, it's not going to hit my hand there. Here I'm about to do something really stupid, and then I realized better of it. I was about to cut towards myself, and then I realized, wait a second, I could just hold the knife still. Now this is the best thing you can do when you're doing a teardown. Hold the knife still and then move the object around the knife. That way your knife hand isn't moving. It's actually doing everything it can to stay still. You're going to not cut yourself. As a man who has cut himself so many times doing this kind of thing, please don't do what I used to do. Hold that knife still, move the object if you can. There we go. And I just sort of saw through. A good sawing motion is also really safe. You want to do that. All right, so here's me attempting to get the focuser working again, get a better view of the LED board. Now, notice around these areas here, you see these little gaps? Now, there's a caulk in here that holds it still, okay? There's a caulk in there that holds it still, but there's gaps in the caulk. And you see there's gaps in the caulk. That's where all this black gook comes through. It's like something out of Divinity Original Sin, if you ever played that game. I think that's the name of the game. If you're eagle-eyed, you can see the part markings right here. Very cool. If you get in there close, you can see them better. I think I go in there expressly to do that. So looks like HLED 5PS6. That's probably 5 parallel 6 series LEDs. That's a way of making a matrix of LEDs. In other words, what that means is you take 6 LEDs in series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you have 5 columns of those, and that's how this works. So if these are daylight LEDs, they're most likely like 3 volts, 4 volts, maybe even, yeah, probably like 4 to 5 volts forward drop, which means the voltage through here to accommodate 6S probably has to be like 30 volts, right? And then the P just tells you how much current you're going to need. All right, SP306840-Y, 19D614. The 19D It's either 19D or 190614. That's probably a date code or a lot code that tells you when this was manufactured and where. Sometimes they'll have different digits for the name of the factory. So like this is factory 190, and then 614 might be like the year, so June 2014 or something like that. Or it's like factory 19, then 06 for June, and then 14 for the year. It could be that. I don't know. You also notice that each of these LEDs is numbered. It looks like it's just numbered 1 through 30, it looks like. 28, 29, 30. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. So that's just the 5x6. So 6 series, 5 parallel. So they just numbered each LED. So whatever, you know. Alright, so now the challenge right here is to get the LED board out from inside this thing. Okay, so I gotta pop it out somehow. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Here I'm using the clamp. So the base of this thing is made of ceramic. Ceramic is very hard, as in it can scratch hard materials, but being hard makes it very brittle. So glass is also very hard, and it's brittle, as if once you've exceeded the stress needed, it'll just shatter. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish here with this ceramic. I want to put some stress on it with these clamps, so then it'll shatter. Now, obviously, I'm not super successful at it because, and I say obviously because I'm not successful at most things, but I have made a crack here, and that crack is going to be good enough. So I am out of the camera frame, unfortunately, but I am going to go ahead and try to pry that crack open and really get in there. Now, unfortunately, that crack just takes me to the base of the plastic shell. Actually, you know, that was pretty fortunate, because I was able to like get rid of the plastic shell. And you see that plastic shell is also helping hold the LED board in. So I'm trying with this method for a little while. You see I'm really going for it. Eventually I just lose my patience and you know what? I'm going in hot. I'm going in real hot. I found a gap, shoved my knife in it, pried it open. Leverage is your best friend when you're doing a teardown. You want to get a tiny little object like the point of a knife into a crevice and then pry it open. And just keep trying that until you eventually dislodge something. Without knowing the internal construction of the light bulb, it's hard to know. Look, little feet fell off my clamp. I'm like abusing my clamp right now. It's major clamp abuse. Ugh, there we go. So I'm trying, and I'm going to fail at taking the socket out. See, the socket has these little dimples here. Those dimples are dug into the ceramic. That's a really good bond. You're not going to get very far with breaking that bond. You're going to have to like bash it with a hammer. And I don't like to bash things with hammers if I don't need to. So we're probably going to go back to prying here in a second. So I'm trying fruitlessly, just absolutely uselessly. I immediately go back to the knife. The knife is your most useful tool in your lab. Never have a knife out of arm's reach. They are just great on the spot. There I am. I'm having some success here. It actually turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. It was only the caulk that is around the circumference of the board that was actually holding it in place. Here I am just popping this son of a gun right out. Bop. Bop, 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 bop. There we go. Ooh, look at that. All right. So it's loose and sooty, which is the way you don't want your light bulbs to be. All right. Sorry about the artifact in there. Here I'm trying to figure out the focuser again. Look at this. Okay. This is a big sign that your capacitors have gone kaputzo. This top here is blown out. So capacitors have little notches on the top of them. I don't know if I can like pull this up or something and show it. No, this one doesn't even have it. Some capacitors have little notches that look like the shape of a K or something. And what that is actually a relief so that if the thing starts to bulge out and blow out, it'll break open the top and just have a hissing death versus a pop explosion death. Now you can see from in here that something has exploded because there is soot everywhere. Something has catastrophically gone awry. All right. So as you see the capacitor, so the middle two pin header right there, that was what was going through the LED board. Here I am figuring out the focuser yet again. I got pretty good with it by the end of the video. I'm just taking a notepad now, and I'm just going to rub it on the inside to show you just how messed up this thing is. All right, and show you the consistency of the soot. Admire my well-manicured fingernails, by the way. There you go. Look at that. All right, so that's worth noting. Look at the consistency of that. That's like a grains of sand. That's not dust necessarily. Those are grains. Those are granules. All right, back in there, the sooty mess. I am going to take my pliers now, and I'm going to rip that son of a gun right out. That's how you treat it. Now, there's actually some loose components in there I need to rattle out. All right, there we go. That's me wrestling with it. It's like, there we go, pop. So, what you see there is this wire right here was soldered directly to the socket here. And I don't know how the rest of it was connected, but that's a ground wire. See, an inductor just rolled away. Like, this thing is a hot mess. It was hot. It's cooled down now. I'm showing off the soot. That thing is completely blown out. There's no salvaging that. Look at that. The capacitor just flops loose. It is a mess. Look at that. Now, I'm going to just rewind here for a second. Now, I know it's not the best focus here, but if you see this part of this board is completely annihilated. Like, it is completely annihilated. And when you see a board that is charred, like the actual traces are charred and annihilated, that tells you that it was current that did it. If you see like a little like point-to-point jolt, right? That could be like a pop, like a little crater, pop in two spots. That's an arc. That can happen. Those are very high currents for very short periods of time due to very high voltage. But this was a continuous current. It didn't even have to be high voltage here. Something failed bad. My guess is that yeah, here I am dusting this crap off my hands. I am sure this stuff is extremely carcinogenic. Look at the back of this board. The back of this board is completely charred. So, yep, so here I am showing how the boards go together. Yep, header pins go to the center. Here I am. I fixed the focus. See, I told you I was getting better at this, all right? Look at that. It is like a moon. It is like a half moon there. And you can see in better focus the absolute charred husk. Like one half of it. So this board, I'm just going to zoom it. I'm going to go back a little bit. There we go. This board sat up to the back of the LED. So here's the LED board, the one I'm holding in my hands currently. Here's the power board that transforms the AC voltage over to a voltage that will then drive those LEDs. Half of that board just blown out. The rest of it almost clean. So all the through-hole components that exploded, that actually tells us which side the failure happened on, which is obviously this side here. All of the through-hole components are usually on a single side of a circuit board. That's to save space. It's to make more simplicity. You usually have to use a different manufacturing process for through-hole versus surface mount. So all the through holes are going to be on one side of the board because they have to repeat the process for each side of the board. All right, so here you have a probably a final stage decoupling capacitor. That's the one that's a little bit blown out. You have an early stage capacitor. It's also a little bit blown out, as you can see there. This area here with the incoming current, like the incoming resistor here, totally charred to hell. It is a mess. There was an inductor here as well. My guess is the inductor... I don't think the inductor shorted out. That wouldn't cause this. This looks like more of a capacitor short out, but the inductor was the one that was totally blown. You have your transformer here. The transformer will step it down from like 120 volts RMS down to, I don't know, maybe like 30 volts to get the volt, the current necessary. If you look at the other side of the board, we're just going to pull this over to the other side of the board. There's some interesting stuff here. So you got a SOT package, SOT package, like real flat down here. It's got 4 pins, it looks like. Trying to think. That might be the diode bridge, honestly, because a diode bridge is going to have a diode, and then 4 taps off of that. It's all similar to a Wheatstone bridge. If you look up Wheatstone, spelled WHEAT, STON, that's a resistor version of that. But if you just look up diode rectifier, you're going to see this 4 diodes arranged, and that rectifies AC current AC voltage into DC voltage. See how it's closer to the header? It's probably past the transformer stage. So the transformer steps down 120 volts RMS down to some voltage RMS, and then it gets rectified. Now just look at this complete, like, there is a path of destruction. Like, look at, I'm gonna try to get a good frame here. There we go. Look at this path of destruction that originates from the AC side all the way over to the low voltage AC side. So the primary side is the high voltage part, and then it goes over across the transformer to the low voltage section, and it's just completely cascade failure. You can't see it, but there are other components on the bottom here as well. Here I am dusting this toxic dust off my hands. It's a mess. All right. And that, my friends, is a blown up LED light bulb. It blew up real good in there. Luckily, you know, your house is equipped with breakers so that overcurrent events would have knocked the circuit out. This thing failed open, which means it failed so the circuit was, so this light bulb circuit was open, therefore it's no more current. Current equals fire, okay? So failing open is a good thing. If it failed closed, it would have triggered the breaker, and I would have had to go down and take the light bulb out and then trip the breaker back again. But all right, I hope you guys liked this one. Hope it was informative. Hope it was interesting. And if you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe and see more of this kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to comment and say something about this video, feel free to hit the comment button and type your little heart out. Just pour your heart all over that keyboard. I will see you guys again another time. And until then, this has been the Alex Manassa, and have a wonderful day.